Welcome back to day 2. I'm so glad that you guys are here. Now today I'm going to walk you through the second part of the process of making our Mason Jar Sewing Caddy. And if you didn't catch day 1, make sure you go back and watch that. And why we're here, what we're doing, we're celebrating the second birthday of the Sewing Squad, which is a sewing membership that I created 2 years ago. I can't believe it's already been 2 years because it's been so much fun, and I look forward to these projects and working with this group of people every single month, and I just love it. We've created a sewing community where our members get a pattern every month. We have a live class every month. Oh my gosh, there's just so much more. There's a discount. There's early access to everything on our website anytime we release a new product. So you guys, I would love for you to check out the Sewing Squad. I've got the links and everything in the description below. Plus, we're giving you $10 off your first month. So if you join us this week or next week, you're going to get $10 off. And we want you to come check it out and bring a friend, bring a buddy. We already have an amazing group of women. We have over 500 women in this sewing community, and I would love to have you join us. So we are going to get on with day 2 of the Mason Jar Sewing Caddy. So grab your fabric. Grab your notions, whatever you need to sew along with us, and we're gonna work on part 2. I've already made my binding. So I cut this piece 2.5 inches wide. And now whenever I do binding, I like to make a binding pocket. So I fold down the edge at the top, so you can see right here. This is the edge of the binding. I fold this down, and you can trim it off if it's too bulky for you, because sometimes it adds a little bit of bulk that you don't want. So trim, just leave about 1/4 inch. Fold it in so that you don't have any raw edges. Okay, and then you fold it over to create the binding. Okay, so I'm going to start on the side. So when you add your binding, you kind of want this binding pocket to be in the middle somewhere. And you can do this on the front or the back. Either way, it doesn't matter. My back fabric is different. Because I didn't have enough of the front fabric, but it doesn't matter. Like, that's the beauty of these projects. You can mix and match however you want. You don't ever really see what's on the back side anyway. So if you're limited on some of your favorite fabrics, you just put something else on the back. All right, I'm actually going to start here because I don't feel like there's a ton of room on the side. So sometimes the more room you have, the better. So we're going to start. Now, if you like to pin or clip your binding, go ahead and start out by doing that. Sometimes it's nice just to hold it in place as you get going, because you just want to sew with your binding right along the edge. Go back to the machine here. Now, this is how I do binding. That doesn't mean this is how you have to do binding. You can use any method that you prefer for adding binding, and I know there are a variety of methods out there. This is just what I learned on, where I finally got it to a point where I felt like it looked good. And so this is the method that I use. I use 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around, and I start at the open part of the pocket. Now I'm just going to start stitching, and I'm going to back stitch. Now I'm going to remove one clip, and I'm going to sew down. So when your pocket is closed, I'm going to sew down to about right here where my finger is, this one. I don't know, 2 inches down from where we started, approximately. No need to measure. And we're going to close the pocket. And it's important that you start approximately where you left off. It does not have to be exact. But you want to leave this part open because that's how we're going to finish when we get to the end. Okay, so now you want to sew straight along this edge until you are 1/4 inch or so away from this edge here. And again, we're not measuring. Don't worry too much about the exact numbers. Looks about right, and then you pivot. I'm going to go one more stitch. Okay, we're going to pivot, and then we're going to sew right off the corner. Don't worry about back stitching here. All you're doing there is you're helping miter this corner. So then you fold it up, and it automatically grabs it right here at the corner so that it folds it back nicely at a nice 45-degree angle. So hold that with your fingers, and then just fold it down on top of itself along the top. So your fold should match the top. It should also match right along the side here, and it should be nice and even with this edge. And then you're going to start stitching again at the very top, because that's going to hold everything in place. We're going to do the same thing on all four corners. You're going to stop about 1/4 inch away from the corner, pivot, sew off at a diagonal 45 degrees, and then fold it back, and then fold it back on itself. It's going to get a little bulky down here because that's where your pocket has been added. And I do back stitch the beginning and the end. And you can clip. If this is easier for you to clip this right along the edge, you certainly can. I'm just holding it in place with my fingers. This is the part I could never get right, the mitering the corners. So sewing off that point at a 45-degree angle has helped me so much. It just helps get nice, clean, neat corners when I'm all said and done. I didn't need to back stitch right there, so don't worry too much about that. Okay, we're going to fold it again, back and forward, and I barely left myself enough. I don't have much excess, which is fine. You just want to have enough to tuck into your pocket. So we're going to sew down to where that pocket begins. Okay, and then I am just lifting this up to see. Now I'm going to tuck the raw edges back into the binding. So I'm going to cut it off at approximately a 45-degree angle. And then I'm going to tuck this open part up right inside. And then continue to stitch down until you meet up where you started on the outside of your stitches. So now all of your raw edges are tucked in. They're nice and neat, and you've got this neat little pocket that you're barely even going to notice. So now we're going to do some glue. So now what you're going to want to do is press out your binding and fold it around to the other side. Whether I'm glue basting or not, I feel like I get a crisper seam if I just press the binding towards the outside around all four sides. Not everybody does this, and again, you guys can totally do whatever works better for you. This is just what works good for me. Now, if you want a glue based, you can glue base, but this is such a small project that it kind of holds in place pretty easily. So you want to start out right at where that pocket is, and you can see that little line right here. And then if you want to clip, you can start just by clipping around, or you can glue base. Either way. I'm not going to glue base just because it's such a small project. The biggest thing that matters here is that your binding comes over and it's covering up the seam where you added the binding to the project, because when we stitch this in place, we're going to stitch in the ditch. That is the ditch. And so as long as your binding is going over those stitches, it's going to capture them on the back side, because we're going to stitch on the front side. Now, you may prefer to stitch on the back and just stitch on the edge of the binding. That's okay too. There are, again, many different methods and ways that people like to do this project, or any project, binding, anything like that. And also, if you prefer a skinnier binding, you probably could get away with a 2 1/4 inch binding. I used 2 1/2. I like to have just a little bit of extra because sometimes I don't cover up the ditch all the way. So when I'm clipping, I like to clip both sides first, top and bottom first, whichever, and then the sides, or the top and bottom, vice versa. I either do the sides and then the top and bottom, or, you know, the top and bottom and then the sides, because then your corners miter so easily. Like it's basically effortless right here. You're just folding it down. I'm running out of clips. Well, they're all on my project here. There they are. I've got them right here. They're handy. I just took my little tool apart. Okay, so now we've got everything held in place. I'm just clipping any threads that I have. Okay, so now we're going to go back and we're going to stitch in the ditch. And so you can see right here where the binding meets the fabric where you attached it. You're going to stitch right along that binding edge. And because we folded it over on the back side, over that, it will capture all the way around on the back. That's the goal. That's also why I press, because that way there's no wrinkles or bubbles, and it kind of makes everything lay nice and flat. And you're just stitching right along. I've got the needle is right in between where the binding meets the backing here. And again, especially if you're using clips, make sure you get them off in plenty of time. Okay, and then when you get to that corner, just pivot. And then just keep stitching until you come all the way around. If anybody's wondering, the fabric I'm using is from Ruby Star. And I do believe it is from a variety of collections. I don't think it's any one. I bought a bundle, and it was just a bunch of different Ruby Star Society fabric that was bundled together that all matched and coordinated. So I can't give you the specific name, but I do love Ruby Star Society fabric. It's just so much fun and so different and bold, and I just love everything about it. So I'm continuing to just sew along the line here, stitch in the ditch, and I'm removing the clips as I go, pivoting in every corner until we get back around to where we started. And then your binding will be all done. So we've clipped off our excess threads. We've stitched all the way around. Now I'm just checking on the back. Captured all the way around. So make sure you check on your binding. We are going to put on the Velcro. So here's how you're going to lay out your Velcro. You've got one piece of the Velcro on the front, and then the other piece is on the back, okay? So I've already cut my Velcro to fit, and it doesn't matter. So you've got the two different sides. You've got like the grippier side and then the softer side. So it doesn't matter which side goes where. Just one goes on the front and one goes on the back. So you're just going to line it up kind of right in between the binding here. We're going to sew it, and then we'll do the same thing on the back side here. And I'm trying to remember, I went right over the binding. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to sew the front piece on, because I'm going to line that right up with the edge of my binding, and I'm going to stitch that in place. And then we're going to take the jar and just measure to make sure everything is nice and accurate, and that it goes around, it fits around the jar the way we want it to, and that our Velcro is going to line up the way it should. Now, I like to use sew-in Velcro. I do not love the iron-on Velcro. I've used it in the past. I haven't had the best luck with it, and it's too sticky and gummy, and I find that it really gums up my needles. So, you guys, totally up to you which kind of Velcro you want to use, but I feel like the sew-on Velcro goes on so much nicer. And I'm just sewing right along the edge using a very scant 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, if that. I'm sewing as close as I can to the edge, you know, but I'm making sure I'm catching the Velcro in there. Okay, stitch along the top. And with the Velcro, I always like to make sure I'm using the same color thread as whatever color Velcro you're using, so it's a little bit more invisible. I tend to use white a lot for my projects. So now, okay, we're back at the overhead view. I want to just show you guys. So you're going to wrap this around, and then, yeah, it's going to line up very nicely. So I just kind of pull it. You want it snug, but not super tight. And I'm just eyeballing where everything is lining up underneath to make sure that if I put the Velcro basically right along my stitch line from where I added the binding, it should line up very nicely. Okay, so now we're just going to lay this here. And if you need to pin or clip your Velcro, it laid really nice on the front side. It doesn't lay as nice on this back side because it's a little bulkier, but I'm just going to hold it here. Now again, the stitches on the front side will be visible, so make sure that you go really slow, that they're nice and straight. And here, if you want to use a different color in your bobbin that matches whatever color fabric you're using, you could do that too to help hide those stitches. You're not really going to see them because it gets covered up by, you know, the overlap of the project, but again, totally up to you. All right, day 2, that was it. It's so easy. You guys, this is such a fun project and it makes such an amazing gift, and they're so easy to whip up, and I swear the more you make, the more you want to just keep making them. So this would be a great gift to give one of your friends who loves to sew and fill it up with like tools. And then, you know, of course, the chocolate on the inside. Great birthday gift. Great just because, thinking of you, whatever. I think they make such a fun little gift to give to people. And then, you know, you got to have one near all of your sewing machines as well. So thank you for joining on day 2. Now, don't forget, we've got an epic giveaway happening. We're going to have 2 winners, 2 of you. And yeah, there's an Olasew iron for each of you. This is the mini M3 Pro, and I absolutely love the mini one. I use it all the time. 2 of you are going to get that. We've got a whole slew of other prizes as well from some of our other sponsors. Make sure you come back and watch part 3 tomorrow. It is the last day of our birthday celebration, but the cart for the Sewing Squad is going to stay open this week and next week. And don't forget, you get $10 off if you sign up. The code and the link to the Sewing Squad to check it out is below, so make sure you check that out. Use that code when you sign up so you get that $10 off. Check out all the patterns that we have available. Take some of our classes, and we would love to have you be part of our sewing community.